Hi, my name's Adam Latin. Today we're going to go over the Tac-Bar Survival Kit. This first part, we're just going to take a look at what's inside the case and inside the survival tin here. So let's start off with, first off we've got this nice ammo case. It's water sealed, which is nice. Inside are 5 Tac-Bar Survival bars here. We're going to go ahead and open these up later on. We're going to give them a try, see what they taste like. Hopefully they're better than the chalky stuff you can normally buy in the store. Inside also is the Tac-Bar H2O water tabs. Inside here is 10 water tabs, which is good enough for 10 liters of water, which is great in any survival situation. The main thing that we're doing this video for today though is the Tac-Bar Survival Kit that comes inside the kit here. And we're going to go ahead and open this up and take a look at what's inside. So I like the fact that there's a little bit of duct tape around the outside to start with, because duct tape's always handy to have, so you definitely don't want to wad that up if you're going to actually keep it for survival. Go ahead and just put that right there for now, and we'll seal it back up later. So first off, the lid itself makes a great tool. It can be used as a shovel, as a scoop, as a miniature frying pan. Pretty much your imagination on that one. First off, up top here, we've got this little survival multi-tool. And then inside it tells you exactly what each little section does. If you'd like to see a more up close of this, go ahead and follow the link to Tac-Bar's website. But basically we've got a can opener right here in the middle, a knife edge along here on the outside, a screwdriver, a ruler here on the outside, another can opener, oh, right over here, more of a bottle opener. 4-position wrench down here, a butterfly wrench, a saw blade here on the outside, direction ancillary indicator, a 2-position wrench, and a lanyard hole down here in the corner. Right away I can tell this is going to be pretty useful out in a survival situation. The blade and the saw blade alone, this will make a great tool out there in the wilderness. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and set this aside. Next up, we've got 2 little razor blades here. Go ahead and open these up and see how durable we got here, without cutting myself, hopefully. Get it open. There we go. So just a little chic razor blade, pretty sharp, kind of thin, obviously. But this will work great for skin and game, descaling fish, cutting fishing line. It's always good to have little blades. So this comes with 2 of those. Like I showed you, comes with some fishing line. Does not indicate how many feet there are, but looks like it wraps around 2 or 3 times around this little spool. So decent amount of fishing line. Fishing line is going to be great for fishing, obviously. I'm pretty sure there was some fish hooks, yep. So some fish hooks, some weights, and a little fake worm here. That'll be great for fishing. But the fishing line itself has a lot more uses. You can use it to make additional traps, like snares. It's also nice to wrap around to kind of strengthen some of your other projects, as long as you got enough of it. Like I said, not a lot here, but enough for a couple, looks like 2 fishing lines, and then we'll use the rest for other projects. A little survival candle here. This looks like a little 1-hour candle. Always nice to have some light, maybe an indicator later. And then a little compass. Let's see if this thing works. So let's see, look outside here, make sure I know where I'm at. Yeah, looks like it's pretty accurate for a little guy. Great if you want to actually leave, try to get out of the wilderness. So it looks like here we have a fire starter striker, a little bit of a multi-tool attached to the lanyard. Looks like it's another bottle opener and a little it looks like it's another measuring tool. This is nice because now fire is always a few strikes away. Speaking of fire, it looks like we got some matches. How many we got in here? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. We got 10 matches. They're survival matches, so they're coated. It looks like a little bit of magnesium, which means that they'll burn in just about anything. Problem is they're really fast burning, so when you strike them, you're going to want to be ready to. They're not like your normal match that it's going to take down just a little bit at a time. These are going to burn very quick and very hot. It also comes with a little strike plate, so you don't have to find a rock or a branch to get that going. And then what I think is one of the, I'd say about the second most important tool inside this kit is the emergency blanket. Depending on where you live, this is going to come in real handy. Where I live here, I live in the Columbia Basin here in Washington State. Average temperature this time of year, this is summer by the way, is about 90 degrees, 95. At night it gets down to about 59. So relatively comfortable at night. As far as using the blanket, probably not so much. But it'll make great for shelter. This is a pretty big one. Fortunately, it's 140 by 210 centimeters, and I don't feel like trying to convert it, but to me that seems about 6 feet by 4 feet, if I did that right, which will be great for a shelter. You can cut strips, use it as additional rope if you braid it. There's plenty of books, plenty of websites out there for 1,001 uses of a survival blanket, just like 1,001 uses for duct tape. Survival blankets, I mean, your imagination is the limit on this, if you don't want to use it for its intended purpose. Obviously, if it was winter around here, it does get very cold. I would definitely be adding this to my keeping warm stock. So, and then as well as the tin itself, this, just like the lid, can be used as a shovel, cooking food, storing water. Pretty sure this would be watertight. We'll have to try that out later. But imagine, I mean, you've got a lot of tin here. You can use it as a splint. You can break it up. You can use a rock. Start making spear points, arrowheads, anything really out of this. It's basically a hunk of metal that is free to use in a survival situation. So now that we've gone through everything, basically the purpose of this video is I'm going to show you how to survive in the wilderness using only what you see here. Now, kind of a little bit impractical that if you find yourself in a survival situation, you're always going to have other things, whether it's garbage that you find or the shoelaces to your boots. If you're biking and that's why you're needing a survival situation, you got lost, something like that, and some hiking trails. The bike itself has a multitude of tools and pieces you can use from that. If your car gets stranded, everybody's always got something in their car that they can ad-lib to help them in a survival situation. But I'm going to show you how to survive just using the items here. We're going to provide shelter, fire, heat rather, to keep warm, water, food, and tools, just using what you see here. So the next time you see me, next time we're back on, we're going to be out at it's the Yakima River Delta. It's our closest river here in Tri-Cities, besides the Columbia. It'll be a lot more secluded in there. So until I see you down there. Alright, hey, my name's Adam Latin. Got this wonderful Tac-Bar kit, like I said earlier, back at back at my office when I showed you everything that was in here. So I was going to come out here into this is the Columbia Basin Delta. So behind you is the Yakima River, and then these are wonderful Russian olive trees around here. We got these in abundance. They're a nuisance, but for some reason they decided to protect them. So I'm going to show you how to survive, at least for a week, using only what's inside this kit. Okay? So we're going to open it back up again. And I already showed you everything that's in it. I got my H2O packets here. I got all my food bars. And then the kit. So I'm going to open her back up again. Like I said, I'm considering the fact that the tape is on the kit. This is going to come pretty handy here in a little bit. Okay? So we're going to open her back up. First thing we need to do is create some sort of tool. Okay? That way we can do everything else around here. So we are going to use this guy. I'm going to show you how to make the little multi-tool that comes in here, the saw blade, and then the regular blade on the side. This is going to be the best tool that we have out here. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the video. Alright, we're going to look around here for a nice green tree branch. Okay, we're more than likely going to have to saw it off the blade, but it needs to be really green. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pause the video here, and I'm going to go back here somewhere and start rooting around for a good branch. Okay. Alright, so I found a nice green branch, took some of the bark off, still wet underneath, had to saw it off one of these trees. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take the tool again, and I'm going to try to split it right down here in the middle and just kind of open it up a little bit. Okay. Alright, so we've got my tool now. Okay, so my camera guy is going to come in here close. I'm going to show you what I did. Okay, I was eventually able to get just enough there and able to start cracking it. So you see how I cracked it down here? Because it's a green branch, it's going to want to tend to close up, unlike a dead branch where once you split it, it's not going to tend to come back. Okay, so then I wedge the blade in. So we've got the blade on one side, the saw on the top. I'm probably going to have to get this to come down just a little bit to fully utilize the top tool here, but pretty much every other tool is still able to use. Okay. Then I took the fishing line, took a little bit of it, and I wrapped it around the inside about 4 or 5 times between the two multi-tools here. Then I took a little bit of my tape, used the razor blade in here, cut the tape, and then wrapped it around just to kind of keep it nice and together. Okay. Now we've got a nice little tool to cut the rest of the stuff that I need to build shelter, food, and water. Okay. Okay. Now that we got my tool, we're going to show you how to build everything else that you need to do to survive outside. Okay. Here in the Columbia Basin, it doesn't get too cold at night. Probably about 50s or 60s. Doesn't rain but 4 inches a year, so we don't have to worry about that. And I've got a large body of water right behind me with my purification tablets, so I don't have to worry too much about water collection. But I am going to show you how to use what's around you to build a nice shelter. Okay? To do that, we are going to use the emergency blanket. Like I said, it does not get too cold around here, so what I'm wearing is pretty much good to sleep overnight. This is to protect me from the rest of the elements, as well as the Mylar blanket in conjunction with the fire we're going to build later. It's going to radiate heat back onto me. Okay, so we're going to use this area right here. So it's a nice little bowl. We're going to clear as much out as possible, and then I'm going to show you how to build a lean-to. Okay, as you can see here, use a little bit of the tool, a little bit of getting in with my hands and everything, but I cleared everything out enough for me to lay down comfortably. We're going to use this log right here, this graffiti covered log. Peace, will, whatever. We're going to build a lean-to using the Mylar blanket, and we're going to find 2 good, strong, sturdy posts to wrap it in. Okay, so once again, I'm going to go ahead and pause it here. Okay, so I found 2 good sticks. This will work for now. Got my Mylar blanket here. Basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to drape them over, wrap them around,
That should hold. I'm going to use a little bit of the remaining tape that I have to just kind of make sure that it stays where it is. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and pop. Alright, so we found 2 good sticks. Used my little blade here, cut all the branches off. We wrapped the blanket 4 or 5 times around those. Dug in a base on both sides. Was able to shove the sticks in so they're nice and sturdy. There's a nice crack running along the inside here, so I wrapped the blanket inside and used the remaining tape that I had just to kind of make sure it stays there. Found some larger branches with leaves and everything still on them. Kind of helps hold everything in place. Used some along the base to keep the heat from escaping, and then draped a few over the top to kind of keep it where it's at. It's pretty windy here, and as you can see, it's holding up fairly well. So I'm just going to get in, show you what, obviously it's not a 4-star resort cabin, but it'll work in a survival situation. Yep. So, a little cramped, but in a survival situation, the closer it is, the more heat is going to retain on the inside. Like I said before, it only gets about down to the mid 50s around here, so I'm not really worried about getting too cold. I'm probably going to go around, cut some grass up with this, kind of make it a little more comfortable down here. Use the box, dig out a little bit, and make it a little bit more roomy for tonight. Okay, so far tonight, as you can see, kind of losing the light. So we're going to be climbing up under here in the survival shelter. What we've done tonight so far is we've created a nice little tool shelter. I've got semi-clean water that I'm going to purify with the water tablets here in a little bit. Don't have to worry about food tonight. I've got 4 of these wonderful, or 5 of these wonderful bars. So I'm probably going to down one of these tonight, or at least most of one. That way I got enough energy for tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to get ready. We're going to use the remaining stuff inside this kit. Luckily it's the river over there, so we're going to use a little bit of the fishing spool and the lure and the hooks. And we're going to set up some fishing lines down along the way here, see if we can't catch some fish. So yesterday we made this handy dandy tool. Fortunately, where we were at yesterday, there's a lot more fishermen over there today, so we've moved a lot farther down the river, more secluded. Had to do a bit of climbing to get here, but it'll be nice. So like I said, we made the tool yesterday, we made the lean-to. We're going to redo the lean-to to more of a pup tent, show you exactly how to do that using the tools that we have. So I'm going to go ahead and stick this down. We're also going to attach a couple of fishing lines to some of the trees that are overhanging here, and I'll show you how to do that. In the meantime, we have a couple of them prepped. If I can get all these bugs off of me. With the line here and the fish hook, and we're just going to go find a couple of good trees overhanging, and we're going to attach them and let them wait. In the meantime, I'm starving, so we're going to go ahead and give the Tac-Bar here a try, if I can figure out how to open this thing. So I'm starving from all the work that I've already done today to prep, so I'm going to go ahead and give these a try. My camera guy is going to try some of this too. Smells a lot better than some of those emergency rations, which is good. At least they break apart easy. Go ahead and put that back. Oh. Alright, we're apparently feeding the wildlife. It's actually pretty good. It kind of tastes like almost like a lemon cookie almost. It's a lot better than some of the survival rations I've eaten. So I'm going to finish this off, get some calories in me, and then we're going to go down the river and we're going to go ahead and set up some fishing line. So this looks like a good spot to drop my line into. Got a nice tree overhang here with some branches leading out. We're just going to go ahead and drop the line right in. I can already see a couple of little fish in there. Hopefully we get something a little bit bigger than what we got in there. Here comes the interesting part. I'm going to go ahead and try to jump over to this log. So at worst, you guys all have a nice laugh when I end up all wet. Whoa. So we got my line here, a hook, the weight at the end to kind of keep it, the hook down, floating. We're going to attach it a little bit farther out so we can get away from these reeds, but close enough to where the fish are going to come later tonight, hopefully. Hopefully I don't fall in. That will be hilarious. Alright, so we've got it attached. We'll just come back and check it later. Alright, so I found a new site for my shelter for tonight. Like I said, it's going to be a little bit different than yesterday's. Hopefully it works out in this ground. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to clear out as much of this as possible using my tool here, and then as well as a couple of the containers, basically kind of clear scrub the ground so it's nice compact dirt. Already today I have gathered up the best sticks that I could find around here, which isn't saying much. Like I said yesterday before, this is all Russian olives down here. As you can see, some of these things are super old, and you don't want dead wood. One, it's pretty flammable, and if you're going to be having a fire anywhere close, you don't exactly want your shelter catching fire. So nice green poles will help with that, as well as they're a little bit more springier. You can do a lot more with them. I found two that I was able to get a couple of Ys. I'll show you why that's important a little bit later. Okay, so we cleared the ground, took the two sticks with the Y, kind of had to cut them down a little bit, just to the right height. Save some of the wood. You can always use it for firewood later. Then I got my long pole here, just as tall as I am, which will be nice later on. Basically, we're just going to lay it across, and that's the start of our little mini tent. I'm going to finish prepping a little bit more, and we'll be back. The frame pretty much set up. I'm going to use a little bit of the fishing line. We're going to go ahead and wrap the ends to give it some more stability, and we'll be back. So basically, we took the stretch of fishing line here, and all we're doing is we're just wrapping it up, making sure it's nice and tight, and just wrapping, kind of give it that extra little bit of strength. If I have time, I'm going to show you how to make some actual rope using the strips from a lot of these branches, but if we have time, run a little short on time, so fishing line will have to do for now. Alright, we're going to go ahead and tie. Alright, so as you can see, we tied down our two ends, which gave us stability on the ends. The middle posts are kind of just a frame. I can adjust them as I need them, so they're not going to be tied down. Saved the blanket from the previous lean-to down there. Didn't tear or anything like that, which is good. Survived the night. So basically we're going to start on this end. We're going to drape it over as far as it'll go, and then we'll cover it with brush and a little bit bigger sticks down here to kind of give it that extra little stability. That's a nice thing about around here. Later on I'll show you a round shot is we're pretty protected from all the elements. Pretty good canopy from any rain. I live in the low desert, so it doesn't rain around here anyway, especially this time of year. We do have some high winds, but I've got no view of the riverfront. I've got big old trees right here to help block the wind, which is perfect. So, okay, so got the back there. Basically what I did is I'm going to show you up here is I tied the blanket onto my support post down there. That'll help it from moving side to side or even blowing away. Like I said before, we're going to lay some cover over the top of it, kind of give it that extra little bit. But it's nice to have this, that way I don't have things falling down on me. I'm going to build my fire here later. Got a nice little ambient temperature, kind of keep everything normal, radiate the heat back off the blanket. Alright, so basically all you're going to do, hopefully this is not going to block the shot here, but all you're going to do is just tie it in. if I can, nice and tight, and that'll be enough to hold it there. Alright, so as you can see here, we took some of the greener foliage from around. I know you see the survival videos with the teams of 8 or whatever that do everything interwoven, intertwined or whatever. Not really necessary in a survival situation. I've got the blanket here. It's going to whisk away any moisture or anything like that, so I don't really need it watertight. Mainly to keep, me nice and warm in there tonight. Like I said before in yesterday's video, it doesn't get any colder than about 58 here. A little uncomfortable, but that's why we're gonna have the fire right here, the embers and everything, like I said before, with the radiant heat. My own body heat alone inside there with the thermal blanket. It's gonna keep it pretty warm, probably in about the 70s, so nice, comfortable to get a few hours of sleep in a survival situation. We'll probably add more to it later. You can never have enough. Plus, as I clear out some more of the shrubs here, waiting for, I guess, a rescue party, since this is a survival situation, we'll clear out more of this area for me, and we'll go ahead and just add on to it. Next up, I'm going to show you. Alright, still hot out, which sucks. Going through a lot of water, but it'll be fine. Next up, I'm going to show you how to make a shovel using the lid. Okay? It's not the greatest shovel in the world, obviously, but it'll get the job done for what we need. Same thing as before with the tool. Find a nice, good, young branch, and then start a split. And basically all we're going to do is we're just going to shove this right in between the split and just work it in until we get it nice and started, and it's going to start splitting it down. Bend the top end, work it down as far as it'll go. Alright. And we'll use some cordage, and we'll go ahead and wrap the top for a little bit more stability. But this will work for clearing some brush out. We can also sharpen one of these sides with a rock, cut it off at a jagged edge, and we've got a nice little chopping tool as well. Well, my multi-tool does work great for that. It is a little bit small, and it's more of a precision cutter than anything. Been using it to kind of chop down the final little, we give the branches a nice good kick, get them started, and then we use this to finish shaving them off. So we're going to finish this off, and we'll be back. Alright, so we stripped the bark off of this nice green branch here. That's what you want, nice little strips. We'll go ahead and put that aside for now. We'll find a use for it later. Okay, so now we've got all these strips, which is going to be our new cordage. Okay, so basically all you do, those of you without daughters or anything like that, all we're going to do is you're just going to braid them. You're just going to take the 3, you're just going to wind them in and out. Oh, my bad. Good, there we go, perfect. Go on, twist and make sure you pull it tight on both ends. That's the hard part, it's only one hand. Just keep twisting. Alright, we'll be back and I'll show you what it looks like when we're done, when we've attached it. So we got it tied off around here. It's just a simple granny knot will work. I used, like I said before, I didn't use any tape on this end. Saved it for this end. Basically I just used the little bit of duct tape that's on the survival tin. Cut a little bit of strip off of it just to kind of keep the frayed ends where they're at. Should hold it. We're going to go test it here in a little bit. Flanged out the edges here, give us a nice scooping end of it. We can also, it's pretty, unfortunately it's a pretty soft metal, so we're not going to be digging no trenches or anything like that, but it should get what we need as far as digging pits and everything like that. The ends here are where you're going to want to focus on your digging. They're the toughest part of the metal, but we'll probably flange it out just a little bit more. So we're going to come in and we're going to take a look at kind of what I did here. Alright, so yesterday we covered fishing, we covered shelter, we covered making some extra tools. Okay. Today we are going to cover some traps that are easy to make, using only some fishing line, piece of stick, and a nice big flat heavy rock. Okay. What you want to do is you want to search around and find your game trails. There's a small one running right along here and back into the forest back there, into the denser brush. The reason why I chose this particular location is, as you can see, everything's covered up pretty much here, but you can tell where the animals are coming through right here. So it's a natural funnel point, so I know this is the path that they're most likely taking. They're not going over, they're coming right through. Obviously this isn't going to be big enough for like a skunk or anything like that. I'm hoping to catch maybe some mice, rats, squirrels, something that's going to come. The water is right behind us about 10-15 yards, so this is where they're coming down to drink. Okay, so I'm going to have it set up here. Basically we're going to tie the string to the stick, run it underneath the rock. We're going to put a little bit of food bait under here and hopefully going to catch something. So when we come back, I'll show you how it's all set up and we'll go from there. Have it set up here. We're going to go ahead and use some of this food bar. Still good from yesterday. We're going to break off a little bit of a piece like this, put the rest of it back in my pocket so I can eat it later. We're basically just going to crumble it up under here, kind of spread it out a little bit. Okay. So hopefully we get an animal, like I said, a small deer, squirrel. I can hear him chattering all along here. Trip the deadfall, catch it with the rock. We'll come back and we'll check it later. Probably tomorrow morning, see if we've caught anything. All right, next up. Okay, we're back down here in the log where our fishing line that we hooked up yesterday, as you can see, kind of got caught up on some reeds there. We're gonna go ahead and hook that. Unfortunately, no fish, so it looks like I'm going with the Tac-Bar again tonight, unless I can get those traps to work maybe later tonight towards dusk. But it's been a lot of hard work today. As you can see, I'm sweating pretty good. I'm out of water again. We're gonna use the wonderful Tac-Bar can here that everything comes in. It's waterproof. It'll be great for storing water. Chose this nice location right here mainly because I can check on my fishing line and I can collect some water here. We're gonna go ahead and dunk it in, get it nice and away from all the reeds and everything. Scoop some water up. Okay, got it about quarter full. Each tab is for a liter, so probably a little bit of overkill here, but as it's river water, you can never be too safe. I'd rather be on the safe side. The Tac-Bar H2O tabs is what I'll be using. Comes in the kit, and basically we're just going to tear off another tab here, get the little guy out, drop it in, put it back in my pocket so I don't lose it. We're going to go ahead and close this up, let it dissolve, do its magic, and by the time I get out of this muck, we'll go ahead, should be ready to drink. We'll go ahead and have a nice cool refreshing drink from the river. Alright, so we've collected the water, put the purification tab in, waited long enough. Go ahead and drink some water because as you can see I'm sweating a lot. I'm going to need to rehydrate. Not exactly the best tasting water I've ever had, but we'll know in a couple of days whether or not those water tabs worked. I'll be sure to let you guys know. All right, so we just picked up some water from the river over here. Got my Tac-Bar ammo can full of water, which is good because it's still hot. We're going to use my shovel here, and we're going to clear a little bit of a path here, and we're going to start our little fire. Try to keep it going nice and low, so that way tonight when the sun sets I don't have to be scrambling to get this fire going. So we're going to use the shovel that I made and basically just clear out the ground here, so that way we can make sure we're not setting the brush on fire around. That's the last thing you want to do when you wake up, is forest around you is on fire. So we're just going to basically clear everything. We're going to finish clearing it, and then I'm going to have the kindling pile stacked up here ready to go when I get back. Alright, so we finished clearing the dirt with our nice little shovel here. As you can see, I've got my kindling pile set up, some sticks around it, so nice airflow. Got a small pile of sticks next to me, and obviously more brush around me to keep the fire going. Gonna go collect a nice little wood pile after we get this started. The kit itself comes with a nice little striker here to try, but it also comes with a nice set of matches. Since I still got matches, this is what I'm going with today. This is always useful to have though, for when the matches run out. There's also ways to keep the fire going in your pocket using the tin, but unfortunately I destroyed the tin to make some extra tools, so we're not going to be able to do that today. So we've got our striker pad here. We're going to go ahead and grab one of these matches, set them off to the sides, that way they don't get wasted. We're going to go ahead and light this baby. There we go. As you can see, they light pretty good. We can get some of these sticks burning. Fortunately, it's going to be a little smoky for right now until I can get some of the drier wood from our wood pile on here. That's why I didn't completely destroy my nice little kindling pile that I had going yesterday from clearing out from my tent here. Another reason why I'm doing the fire here, it's far enough away from the tent that it's not going to set it on fire, but I'm still going to be able to enjoy the radiant heat later from the embers. Throw some more sticks on here, see if we can't get that going. Unfortunately, anybody can get one of these matches to light. It's to get the fire itself going with some of these sticks. We need to get the sticks lit. This dry grass will burn all day long, but obviously that doesn't help me as far as heat and longevity of a fire, because I'm not going to be feeding dead grass to it all night long. We got some sticks. Throw some more grass on there and see if we can't get these things growing. Pause here and we'll come back when I got a nice good roaring fire going. So we got a fire going. Fortunately, a lot of smoke right now. Here, we'll come to this side of the fire. You want to practice proper fire safety even in a survival situation. Like I said, you don't want the forest to burn around you. It's going to create a whole nother survival situation. You can feel the nice heat coming off of here, which will be nice later in the night when it gets down a little bit cooler. Make sure to clean up after yourself when you're done, even in a survival situation. So that's pretty much it. I'm going to get in here and I'm going to kind of rest for a little bit, let my fire kind of just smolder here, and we'll go ahead and add to it later. But that's it. I've showed you everything there is to do with this kit in a survival situation. I told you how to get water, shelter, and food, and now we also have a source of heat and a way to cook the food later. So until the wrap up here, I'll talk to you next time.
Okay, we just spent about 3 days on and off out in the Yakima River Delta using the Tac-Bar Survival Kit. I showed you several ways how to use the kit. It's obviously not all-inclusive. Your imagination is pretty much your limit. I wanted to show just the basics to get you to survive short-term out in the wilderness should you need it. Wait for rescue, wait for conditions to clear up to get out yourself. Overall, great kit. The tack bars itself were delicious. Like I said before, they tasted kind of like lemon bars, which is great. A lot better than the chalky survival rations that you normally get from the store. These are a little bit more expensive, but definitely well worth it. Probably going to take a few on a hunting trip that I got in October when I backpack into the Oregon mountains. It's about 6 miles in, so bringing a lot of food is a little bit hard. So a couple of these guys will be real great out on the trail for rations with some trail mix. The survival tent itself held up really well. Nothing ended up being flimsy or cheap. Showed you how to make a nice little hatchet multi-tool to start with. Then we moved into a shelter, just a basic lean-to using the survival blanket and some branches. Obviously that was a very short-term use that was getting towards the end of the evening, and we had to find something that we could get real quick to kind of keep the elements off should it decide to rain. The next day we broke down that shelter and then built a new triangle style, which was definitely a lot more sturdy. It held up the other 2 days until I broke it down. Even breaking it down was a little bit difficult. It held together really well. Showed you how good the water tabs used, even in the Yakima River. Used the fishing line. Showed you even without sticks or a fishing pole how easy it is to just kind of lay a couple of lines along the river and hope for the best, hope some fish come by and decide to nibble on your line. Showed you just one type of small rodent catch. It was kind of running out of time and battery out there. Couldn't show you snares, which you can also use with a fishing line. As well as we used the lid to make a shovel, which came in handy a lot. Clearing out the ground around the shelter, clearing out a spot for the fire. That way we didn't burn the forest down around us, which I'm sure the U.S. Department of Engineers really appreciated. There was more that can be done with these kits, but basically I gave you a general idea that everything that I showed you, if you do those things, you should be able to survive for 5 days, especially since you've already got 5 days worth of food right in here. Obviously you can make it last longer. It is 2,500 calories. It depends on how much you're going to be doing. The human body can probably survive about 900 calories to 1,100 on a very sedentary lifestyle. So if you're just going to wait around for rescue, you're not going to do a lot around camp. You're basically just maybe sit down by the river and fish, wait, hope rescue is going to come. Then maybe eat a bar or 2 a day. Each pack comes with 3 bars. That'll make your food last longer. If you're not quite as good of a woodsman or woods lady, not so good at traps, or game is scarce. Down by the river, we had plenty of game. Where I live, it's more desert, so not quite as much game up here, mainly birds and snakes, which are always edible, but obviously a little bit harder to catch. The survival blanket, I only used it for shelter, but like I said in the intro, it can be used for, the imagination is out there for a survival blanket. It's pretty tough, it's pretty durable. You can cut it into strips for your garden. If tie it around, keeps birds from the both shiny sides when it flaps in the wind, keeps birds away. You can use it as emergency field dressings to wrap. You can cut it into a triangle, use it as a shoulder sling. Like I said, go online. There's 1,001 uses for an emergency blanket. There's 1,001 uses for just about everything that's in there. You just kind of got to figure out what it is that you want to do. But overall, great kit. Thanks to Aaron at Tac-Bar, and special thanks to Dale over at Survivalist Prepper for posting this video for me. Go ahead and check out his website. Got a lot of great information. Him and Lisa are always posting stuff up on the Academy. A lot of great reads. It's where I learned a lot of this stuff, is from what they posted and what they discuss in their podcast. So again, thanks, and I hope you enjoyed this video and learned at least one thing, and I did my job. Thanks.